You've done the inner work. You've sat with the teachings, you've questioned your thoughts, you've tried to release the ones that don't serve you. And yet, here you are. Same circumstances. Same emotional weather. Same quiet frustration whispering that maybe, just maybe, something is fundamentally broken in how this is supposed to work. What if nothing is broken? What if the mechanism is working perfectly, and that's exactly the problem? What if your beliefs aren't obstacles between you and your reality, but the very engine producing it right now, without pause, without exception, with absolute and total precision? Most teachers in this space will tell you to change your beliefs so you can change your life. Bashar goes somewhere far more radical than that. He says your beliefs don't filter reality. They generate it. And once you actually feel the difference between those two things, not just understand it but feel it, the entire game changes. That's what this is about. If something in those first few sentences already landed in your chest rather than your head, you found this channel for a reason. We don't skim surfaces here. Hit subscribe and stay close. This is the kind of conversation that tends to keep giving long after the video ends. Here is the first thing Bashar makes clear, and it sounds simple until it isn't. A belief is not an opinion. It is not a preference. It is not something you hold. A belief is a decision, made often without your conscious awareness, that something is real. And the moment you decide something is real, your entire system, physical and non-physical, orients itself around that decision and begins producing evidence for it. Not metaphorically, not poetically, literally. Think about how a radio works. The radio tower is broadcasting dozens of frequencies simultaneously, right now without stopping. Your radio doesn't attract a station, it doesn't earn a station, it tunes to one. And in the moment of tuning, that station becomes the only one that exists in your experience. The others aren't gone, they're fully present, they're simply not what you've matched. Your belief is the dial. And most people are walking around with a dial they've never intentionally touched, set to a frequency chosen for them before they were old enough to question it. Or think about a projector in a film screening. The image on the screen looks completely solid, completely real, the shadows, the colors, the faces. But none of it is coming from the screen. The screen is just where you're looking. The image is being generated from behind you, by a reel of film that was loaded before the movie started. Your beliefs are the film reel. Reality is the screen. You can stare at the screen as long as you want, trying to change the image with your willpower, your affirmations, your vision boards, and nothing will shift, because you're looking in the wrong direction. The mechanism is behind you. Your beliefs don't describe reality. They construct it. This is what makes Bashar's framework so disorienting the first time it really lands, and so liberating once it does. Because if your beliefs are literally constructing your experience, then the question is never, how do I change what I'm seeing? The question is, what decision am I running that keeps producing this particular movie? Now here's where it gets deeper. And this is the part that most people in the manifestation space stop short of, because it requires a level of honesty that feels uncomfortable at first. You've been taught, in various ways through various teachers, that your beliefs are things you have, thoughts you repeat, stories you tell, and the instruction is, replace the bad stories with good ones, think better thoughts, say better affirmations, and yes, there's truth in that direction. But Bashar points to something beneath the level of thought entirely. He talks about the core belief, the foundational frequency that sits so deep in your system that it doesn't feel like a belief anymore. It feels like fact. This is the hidden mechanism. Not the thoughts you're aware of, the decisions you made so long ago, so thoroughly that you forgot you made them, the ones that feel like just the way things are. For me, this clicked during a period where I was doing everything right. I was visualizing, I was working on my state, I was choosing better feeling thoughts, and still hitting the same wall. And I finally had to ask, what am I not seeing? What belief is so foundational that I don't even recognize it as a belief? And what I found was a quiet, subterranean conviction that I was fundamentally undeserving of ease. Not a thought I was thinking, a frequency I was standing in. And from inside that frequency, every tool I picked up was being run through that filter. The affirmations couldn't stick. The visualizations felt hollow, because the reel in the projector was still loaded with the same film. Think of it like a tuning fork. If you strike a tuning fork that vibrates at 440 Hz and hold it near a guitar string tuned to the same frequency, the string will begin to vibrate on its own. Not because it was forced to, because resonance is automatic. Your core belief is a tuning fork that is constantly being struck, and every experience, every person, every circumstance that matches that frequency will begin to vibrate in response, automatically, inevitably, without effort. You're not attracting those experiences. You're activating them, you're calling them into resonance. This isn't about effort, it's about frequency. So the frustration you've been feeling, the sense that you're working so hard and nothing is changing, isn't a sign that you're doing it wrong. It's actually a very precise and useful signal. It's pointing you toward the frequency that's running beneath your efforts, beneath your conscious choices, the belief that's so deeply installed that it stopped announcing itself. What would it mean if the wall you keep hitting wasn't an obstacle, but a clue? You've been doing the work, genuinely, and that's not the problem. The validation you deserve here is real. The fact that you're still in this conversation, still seeking, still willing to look at this honestly, that's not spiritual bypassing. That's integrity. But here is the practical pivot, the place where understanding has to become doing something different. Bashar teaches that you cannot think your way out of a core belief. You can only out-vibrate it. And the way you out-vibrate a belief is not by arguing with it. It's by choosing, with total commitment, to act from the frequency of the belief you prefer, even before your outer reality has confirmed it. This is what he means by state of being. It's not a mood. It's not positive thinking. It's a fundamental orientation, a decided relationship with reality that you choose to inhabit as if it's already true. Think about a GPS. When you enter a new destination, the GPS doesn't argue with your current location. It doesn't say, but you're not there yet. It immediately begins routing from where you are to where you've decided to go, and crucially, it recalculates if you take a wrong turn. It doesn't judge, it doesn't panic. It just keeps orienting toward the destination you chose. Your state of being is the destination you've entered into the system, and your experiences are the GPS calculating the route. Or think about a wardrobe. The clothes are all hanging there. Every version of your life, every timeline, every reality you could step into. The you who has the relationship, the you who has the creative breakthrough, the you who wakes up without that low-grade dread. Those aren't futures you're trying to build. They're parallel frequencies you can choose to wear. The question isn't whether they exist. The question is which one you're reaching for when you get up in the morning. Here's the practical step, and it's deceptively simple. Not easy, simple. Today, identify one circumstance in your life that feels stuck, just one. And instead of asking, how do I change this? Ask this question instead. What belief would I have to be holding for this exact reality to make complete sense? Not what caused it, not whose fault it is. What belief would have to be true for this specific experience to be the logical output? Sit with that. Really sit with it. Because somewhere in that answer is the reel that's still loaded in the projector, and you can't remove a reel you haven't found yet. Your beliefs don't describe reality, they construct it. The moment you locate the belief, not as an enemy, not with shame, but with genuine curiosity, the frequency begins to shift, because awareness itself is a frequency. Seeing the mechanism is not separate from changing it. Seeing it clearly, without judgment, is the first movement of the dial. So we come back to where we started. You've been doing the inner work. You've been visualizing, affirming, trying to choose better thoughts, and something hasn't been moving. And the question underneath all of that effort, the one you haven't fully let yourself ask, is, why isn't it working for me? Here's what this entire conversation has been pointing toward. It might not be working at the level you're applying the tools, because the mechanism generating your reality isn't at the level where you've been applying them. Changing your thoughts while leaving your core belief intact is like repainting a house that has a cracked foundation. The paint might look different for a while, but the structure is still running the same program. You are not broken. You are not failing. You are not the exception to the rule. You are someone who has been looking at the screen desperately, and the image keeps repeating. Not because you lack faith, but because you haven't yet found the real, and now you're looking in the right direction. This is what Bashar means when he says that reality is a reflection of your state of being, not a reward for your effort, not a response to your willpower, a reflection, precise, faithful, neutral. The mirror doesn't hate you when it shows you something you don't want to see. The mirror is just doing what mirrors do, reflecting back the frequency that's standing in front of it. And you, right now, today, with everything you know and everything you've been through, you have the ability to step into a different frequency. Not by pretending the old one doesn't exist, by deciding clearly and deliberately which reality you're choosing to be the truth of. The construct doesn't have to keep building the same structure. You are the architect. Your beliefs don't describe reality, they construct it. And the one doing the constructing has always been you.